broken. Learn to fly again.
Okay. Holy shit.
It's been a long time.
Yeah?
Shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. The step two. Step.
It's been a while.
No. Take us back to the 2000s.
Yeah, I love when I found out that a lot of Green Day songs are about tweaking on meth.
Everything's about tweaking. There's a lot of people been tweaking on meth for a long time.
Avril Lavigne wrote a lot of songs that are about Slender Man, but not a lot of people know that.
Did you make that
Because
up?
nobody listens to her.
You made that up.
Yeah.
You made that up entirely. Ooh.
Why she's a clone now.
All right, no.
She got too close to the truth.
All right. On the fake
got a third
conspiracy.
titty on her ass.
On the fake conspiracy. I think it would be easier to do something on the celebrity end of.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So because people do that anyway.
Yeah.
There's some.
But because it's about a celebrity, it could really go viral really easy.
Yeah.
Now,
Mariska Hargitay, go.
I don't know who that is.
I'm curious because
Mom got her head cut off.
This is before things went viral. Richard Gere with the hamster in his ass.
That's true, yeah.
Where did that come from?
I mean, that's not
Yeah,
true.
and
but-
the Marilyn Manson
You don't know
rib
that-
removal surgery so he could suck
Yeah,
his own
that's
dick.
the thing.
Or that he was Corky from The Good Life or whatever that show was.
Oh, Wonder Years.
Wonder
yeah, he
Years.
was. Yeah, I used to. I
Fucking
heard both of those. Yeah.
Not Wally? No, Wally, that's the beaver. Well, Wally's brother is the beaver.
Boner.
Boner. Boner was Growing Pains.
Roach
was. Why is my goddamn TV
That
tree?
Sandy Duncan show.
No. Roach was the friend on. Fucking Christ.
Cosby?
No, was it?
Oh, Martin.
Who was Roach?
No.
Family Ties.
Family Ties. Roach was the friend on.
No,
No.
that was Skippy.
That was Skippy.
Yeah, because the peanut butter.
Who the fuck? God damn it.
There was a Roach. Somebody was a Roach.
I'm pretty sure that was a Cosby show.
Was it Cosby?
I think so. Or
I
maybe
remember
it
his
was,
mother
No,
was like,
it was
"Why
a-
don't you
it
tell
was
your
a-
friend Roach that he can join us for dinner?"
Look, you couldn't. I mean, you couldn't. Even back then, you couldn't call a black guy Roach. Okay, that's not on the Cosby
I thought
Show.
it was just like a weed reference.
I think it was, but that was a different show. It was a white guy. I know it was a white guy that was named Roach.
Calculating.
No.
Calculate, Spencer.
I'm pretty sure there was a predominantly black sitcom. It was like Family Matters.
With a friend named Roach.
Yeah.
No, it was a white. It was Growing Pains, Family Ties. Family Ties was Skippy. Growing Pains was Boner.
Our flag means death.
Of course, fucking Eddie goddamn Haskell. Who the fuck was Roach
Hey, Miss
on?
Cleaver.
I'm not seeing
Looking
anything.
really swell today.
Roach was on one of those fucking shows.
The Horrors of Dolores Roach.
No, not Charles in Charge. I'm going to figure this out.
That's a Mandela effect.
It's not a Mandela effect. There was a guy named Roach on a goddamn sitcom in the 80s, 90s.
Why did Cockroach leave the Cosby Show? He refused to comply with Cosby's request to cut his hair.
Wait, Roach was on the Cosby Show?
Yeah, Carl Anthony Payne II.
And he was black?
Yeah.
Light skin?
I don't have a picture of him in
They
front
were
of
all
me.
kind of light skinned.
Yeah.
Carl Anthony Payne. That name also sounds really familiar.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just because he played Roach, but
I'm still thinking about Eddie.
Haskell?
Eddie's from Family Matters, right?
Okay, yeah, remember that video?
Oh yeah, he's with a trans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing pornos.
Dude,
Good for him.
well, once again, Bailey J.
You keep saying Bailey J. I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's like the hottest
It's when
trans
you-
porn star.
Take a joint and dip it in Bailey's Irish cream and smoke it.
That I prefer what he said.
Dude, take a look at her, man. She's incredible.
I don't need to. Thank you.
See, to me, with the trans thing, the thing that was...
Hey, I guess what they
Are
decided.
we recording?
Yeah.
Oh.
Good stuff.
Well.
I always like to get a candid at the start. Hey, everybody, welcome
Almost
to Kooks.
caught me.
Hey, welcome to Kooks Cranks at Iconoclast. I'm your host, Mike Luck, and is with me, as always, my co-host.
Spencer Cockroach Lowry.
Christopher Brandon.
Skippy?
No, I don't have a fucking... No, I don't have a nickname. I just have...
Boner.
I tried to throw some nicknames out there back in the day. It never happened. So I'm...
Let's call you Auger.
Hugger.
Coco.
Auger.
That's a hole digger.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you
just
wanted to be called.
grind in. Yeah, well, it didn't work for me. Maybe it worked for him.
Eh.
I'm Chris Wells. That's it.
AKA Wellesley.
Yeah.
That's probably the only
Yeah,
That-
in
that-
my phone is Wellesley.
Yeah,
definitely, for like 20 years.
Wellesley is actually a thing, so that's fine.
Well, we all got nicknames. All right.
Spencer doesn't.
Oh,
He's cockroach.
Mr. Thick Dick.
The body.
The body.
Yeah, the body is the closest one because I didn't make it up. And
What if we all have weird, ironic deaths around it? Like, just hear the body find you. And then, like, I don't know, I masturbate so much I grow hair all
here's
over
my
my
friend
body.
Spencer the Body Lowry. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, that's his body.
I don't know. We're
And you
more
fall down a well?
we're more likely to end up in a very bad thing situation with Spencer.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Oh God,
Wait.
that movie makes me sick, dude.
That
Like,
movie is
oh my-
amazing.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. but
You feel the
God,
anxiety?
I mean,
I could be
You can
Christian
see
Slater
a
in
fun
that movie.
night just totally.
I could totally be Christian Slater in that movie.
To me, that was like The Hangover, you know, but like with
Oh,
real
yeah.
with real stakes, you know.
But yeah, murdering a hooker in Vegas.
Ugh,
Not well, they
God.
didn't murder.
Accident.
It was an accident.
Accident.
But who was that? That was what's her face?
I mean, in
Kobe
Vegas,
Ty?
Was that who that was?
in
think
Vegas,
so.
they could have just called the cops and be like, "Oops, this happened."
Yeah.
and they probably would have been better off.
Yep, it's a Saturday.
Yeah.
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 Oh, shit. Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Ugh.
listeners.
Yeah, we got okay. So this is
We're
gonna be
all
a,
over the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is gonna be a big show. I was trying to stall for time while I'm still trying to like
We're
think
all- yeah.
of how to like approach all this today.
We've been sitting here for an hour and 41 minutes before we even started recording. So,
Yeah.
oh wait, no, y'all got here late.
Today we are covering the Stargate Conspiracy, and holy shit, does this thing branch off to so many places? It's got so many bits and bobbles and connectoids left and right.
Lots of ins, lots of outs.
Yeah, a lot of
lots
what have yous.
interested parties.
And
Yeah.
you know what? This is one you're not really going to hear a lot of fucking argument from me on. Like, I mean, there are little things, of course.
Yeah,
But
Every episode's different.
It's well argued. The book is well written. It's well argued.
I bought a paper copy of this.
Yeah, written by Lynn Picknett and Clive Prince, I believe, are the authors. Came out in '98.
I didn't look up Clive Prince. Lynn Pickett had an interesting career. She was a stand-up comedian at one point. I believe wrote copy and then did some other some kind of trade at some point. I believe.
I think I may have this wrong. I think they wrote Holy Blood, Holy Grail also. They wrote some stuff about like the Templars and like the Jesus bloodline or something like that.
The thing that they didn't inspire the things we thought that I would think they inspired. They inspired the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah,
the Da
yeah,
Vinci Code
yeah.
was inspired by shit that they had written,
Yes.
which is very interesting
Yeah.
because that blew up.
They're good researchers. I'll fucking definitely give them that.
And the book came out in 1999.
Yes, and with the hindsight of almost 20 years later. Is that right?
25
24.
years later.
Yeah, 25 years later.
5.
I'm seeing a lot of fucking shit going on in the culture today
All the
that very much lines up with stuff that's being said.
Yeah,
so
but
much.
I couldn't find anything about that Graham Hancock year 2000 party. Like, I don't think it really happened.
It did.
Like
it was a concert, and they stopped all the other stuff.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Anyway, anybody that studies the world of pop culture and Rogan,
Yeah.
or Netflix has seen Graham Hancock, and he is referenced quite a bit in this book, and a little bit of Von Däniken. There is a lot of ancient alien
Yes.
stuff in this, and it's. But hey, they present it very well. It's pretty cool. And hey, you know what? I like watching Ancient Aliens. It's cool. Is it all bullshit? No, I can't say it is, but I can't say it's true either.
Well,
It's fun to watch.
there may be several reasons why there's such a huge cultural push behind everyone getting into Ancient
Yeah,
Aliens.
and more than just the History
Stay
Channel
tuned when
show.
Mike lets you know
Yeah.
where the ties are.
But before that, as always, we're going to do What's Weird This Week.
All right, I guess I'll go first
I
to
like
keep
that
with
haircut.
tradition. This is from a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, May 21st, I think.
Whoa.
There's a full-sized 5'10" man, age 31, was found hiding
Florida
from the
man.
cops.
You missed. It's a Florida man.
Oh,
This is a Florida man situation.
well, that tracks, yeah.
yeah.
So he was hiding from the cops. He had some weapons charges, and the cops got a tip called in that he was in this residence. They go in there, they can't find him. And I don't know, maybe they heard when you're in a little metal can like that and you fart or cough or something, it kind of amplifies it.
It's fucking Ronnie Dobbs.
I didn't even get my suck off.
This is my home. I don't know. You just came into my home.
Y'all are brutalizing me. Yeah,
y'all got prostitutes working in your police.
Dude is quite the contortionist. He was able to. That is a small dryer too.
It's tiny as fuck, dude. I'm wide. But
that was the highlight of those cops all week.
Oh yeah, I could not fit in that fucking. Anyway, this man ran. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he ran. They found him in the machine. He has previous's with drug charges, but he was 5'10", 150 pounds, 31 years old. He's now facing felony and misdemeanor narcotics charges. Alongside with whatever you call it, evading
Mr. David Jackson.
David Jackson, yeah.
Sorry, he said.
That's a good effort, though. I mean,
sorry, Mr. Jackson.
If he didn't fart right when they were walking by, they wouldn't have known he was in there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have looked in that goddamn washing machine.
Or like his skin, made like a squeak on the side of the can.
Well, I mean, you're so squeezed into that thing, like.
Yeah, he's probably wheezing, because his lungs were.
This is on The Smoking Gun. Just if any of y'all want to look this picture up, that's impressive. That's
a great source.
That motherfucker, and the cops stopped to take a picture. In fact, there's two cops looking at this fucking asshole, and they're like, "Look at this fucking."
There's probably
asshole.
cell phone pictures from like 5 different angles. In that very second. Everybody pulled out their shit.
Like they don't even got their guns out because they're like, "This is fucking." Look at this fucking asshole.
I mean, that's it was probably a treat for the cops. I mean, this one time some goofy shit happens, and
goddamn, that's not even like a full
very non-climactic ending.
I am mad that's a nicer dryer than mine, and that house looks a lot shittier than mine. So like, I don't know.
You can tell by the thick door. That thing probably doesn't make a fucking peep.
Oh man, that's a nice dryer.
Looks like a top loader next to it, the washer.
Oh man,
the thing that I hate about HE machines, it saves water, whatever the fuck. It takes an hour and a half to wash your shit.
Yeah.
I mean, how is that more? Okay, you're saving a couple of gallons of water, but how much electricity that shit burning with all those motors going for an hour and a half versus 15 minutes with the other machine? I think they're horse shit, and I'm against them.
You think it would have came on if they turned it on? Or it wouldn't have rotated with him in there?
I've seen, I bet it would. The washing machines and dryers are hard-working machines.
I've had a lot of washing machine problems lately, and I've been up in there.
Oh, dude, I went through 3, he's like, $50 on Craigslist, and then it just didn't it happened like 3 times in a row. I don't want to get into it right now. Anywho, that's my what's weird.
Stay tuned for our later podcast on repairing washers and dryers.
They call me the Maytag Man. Yeah.
Anyway, remember Red Green Show?
Yeah.
If the women
vaguely,
if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.
Hey, I don't care what you call me as long as you call me. Anywho, that's my what's weird this week. How about
you? Got crickets over there.
I'm still. I have so much in my head right now.
Come on, man.
Oh boy.
He's swimming.
Throw me a bone.
And you know what? I guess it's my turn.
Yep.
Man, it's a slow fucking news week, man.
Yeah.
It's, I ain't got no conspiracy. Nothing's like
bottom of the barrel.
I mean, but it's election season's coming up, so things are gonna start jumping off soon.
Oh god.
They're gonna be cool. Like it'll be fun. It'll be stupid. It'll be fucking terrible.
Until it's like really serious.
Until it's just sad. I mean, it's all sad actually, but I have a good time. I don't know. I try not to take that shit seriously.
It's going to be an interesting next few months, man.
Yeah. We got an odd news ass site.
News ass?
Odd ass.
Yeah.
News ass.
Odd ass.
News. Yeah.
Newsass.com.
The
you
main
have some serious ass pirate problems.
What is weird about this is the headline. And it's just because it's funny. Diddy's case takes an unexpected turn with FBI informant allegations by a major music executive.
Who is it?
Suge Knight accuses Diddy in the latest episode of his podcast from jail, Collect Calls. All right, so the weird thing is, one, that they referred to Suge Knight as a major music executive.
Yeah, that's already cooking the books.
Because
you still know who he is.
And yeah, he's in fucking prison. Got a 28-year sentence.
Been in for a long time.
No, he's been in for a little bit for voluntary manslaughter because I don't know if y'all remember a few years back, Sugar Bear, Mr. Sugar Bear, because that's what his mama calls him. He fucking backed over somebody in a goddamn fast food parking lot on purpose, and then tried to play like he was blind. and that it was an accident. I'm blind. He walked into the courtroom with like the glasses on and
I couldn't see when I stabbed Easy with that AIDS needle.
Yeah, and then fucking the AIDS needle on Easy.
But that was a long time.
That was a long time ago. This is a few years back. Anyway, he's got a podcast. I'm sure it has more listeners than us.
Yeah, it's from prison, which already makes me kind of like.
He does it from the phone. And
that's fucking great. I'm listening to that tonight.
I'm gonna collect calls with Suge Knight.
Love it.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it's got to be in 15-minute increments because that's how long.
Is that the max?
That's you get 15 minutes on the jail. Like you have 1 minute.
Hang
left.
on, I'll call you back.
Yeah, and then you call him back. But hey, you know what? I mean, it's paying for his commissary. That motherfucker's making a fat spread and putting some ramen noodles.
Got all kinds of peanut butter ramens.
Peanut butter with when you got fat money, peanut butters.
I see a prison cooking YouTube.
Oh, there's a bunch of them,
Yeah.
man. There's so many of them.
It's all ramen based.
They're all
Doritos.
They're all ramen based. Until you get to the feds, you got better quality ingredients. But anyway, in the podcast, Knight claimed that everyone in Diddy's circle was aware of his supposed informant status. Knight's remarks included, naturally, Puffy been an FBI informant forever. As they would say, that's why it's different when it comes to him. He further added, everybody in his crew knew about it. The bitches he dates knew about it. Everybody knew about it, so don't push away from it now. So this guy's saying that Diddy has been an FBI informant, in which,
he's the Black Epstein.
Yeah, as this whole
that would explain,
this whole Diddy conspiracy, like literal conspiracy, like as in he conspired to do some shit with some other people, as in it's not just made up. He had a lot of people that he has worked with to do the dirty things, and people have been talking about it for a long time. And now, not just this, but people are playing a lot of videos of Diddy. I watched a video of Mike Tyson and Diddy doing an interview on a show, and Diddy puts his hand on Mike Tyson on his leg, Mike Tyson gingerly grabs his hand with both hands.
Man, get the fuck up.
And he didn't really make a thing about it, but it's like you see Mike Tyson, a convicted rapist, put Diddy's hand and be like, no, you put his fucking hand aside.
I don't know if he raped that woman.
We don't know that, but he is. I can say he's a convicted rapist.
That's true. Yeah,
he was really good on the Norm Macdonald show. That one episode with Mike Tyson. Worth a watch.
Mike Tyson. I don't know who to believe because that's the fucked up thing. I always want to believe the victims, but at the same time, there are a lot of when you got a rich motherfucker and people, especially back in the day, when you could get litigious because. Yeah, no, he went to prison on that.
That was the era of suing people for having coffee too hot and shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. You can still do all that. Actually, it's still.
Well, it was easier when everyone's phones weren't recording everything at all times.
So anyway, I don't know. This was just a silly one I found because
it's relevant.
Like I said, it's relevant.
No, there's a lot of videos of Diddy like.
The
recontextualization.
Yeah, the recontext.
Like that Nickelodeon thing.
The one with him, the Nickelodeon one that came up this week.
Put it down my pants.
A couple weeks ago where he was like, "With Justin Bieber, come hang out with me." He bought Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I adopted this white girl.
And then the adopted the white girl one is the most fuck because that's recent. That's not even that old. That was like during COVID or something. Like, because they were all doing video things and shit.
Wonder if Chappelle knew about it when he did that whole breast milk thing.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. This
is Coinky.
Well, I was definitely making fun of Diddy for his weird, I don't know.
I think Chappelle knows more than... I think he knows...
Why do you think Chappelle ran the fuck away from Hollywood?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think he knows more than we'll ever know.
Yeah. The Hollywood conspiracy. I'm going to LA in November again, and I'm going on a mission. I'm gonna have to get a portable recorder to do some research. I hear footsteps. Anyway, very interesting.
God,
are you there?
Yeah.
Me.
No. Well. Oh yeah, because it was his footsteps carrying you the whole time. Don't you remember?
Yeah. There was only one
set of footprints.
Yeah. Maybe because I was helping one of the other fucking people on this planet.
The weird part is that there was a line in the middle that would simulate it was like a tail being dragged behind him. So it was like two. Oh,
it's a slug trail.
Like rodents with their urine. You know?
Yeah, they leave a trail of
They leave a
urine
trail,
everywhere they go.
they
Yeah.
drag it. I mean, I learned that from King of the Hill, so I don't know if it's real or not, but
Shit, I take it as real.
yeah.
What, didn't
Yeah.
you have a fucking
Oh.
black light in your...
I had a black light, but I
Is pee black light reflective?
I don't think pee is black light reflective.
Hmm.
I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, I did have that big rat. You remember my rat, Will Endowed? And
Huge bowls.
huge balls.
His name was Will Endowed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
that's-
because I called him Will because of Willard, but also as he got older, his balls were huge, and he dragged them around everywhere. And he was a free range rat. I did not keep him in a cage. He just got to walk around the house wherever the fuck, and that rat was cool. He made it through a cocaine overdose, alcohol. He ate a whole bunch of weed one time.
Man, what kind of vet do you take him to for all that?
I did not take him to the vet.
the bill must be exorbitant.
because we were I was on the same drugs he was on,
He's got a no question
and
ask
I was
veterinarian.
17 years old, so people don't come at me for that, okay?
My
That
misspent youth.
Yeah, I was young and stupid, but anyway, so that's what's up with the ditty.
So, okay, I got a story. It's a bit old, but it plays into what we're talking about today in a surprising way. And I didn't know about this until I started reading this book and I was doing some internet research. But I found this article, and I'm just going to go on the AI overview that fucking Google insists on giving people now for some reason, because this is a trend that's starting. Stargate is an artificial intelligence supercomputer project being developed by Microsoft and OpenAI. The project is estimated to cost over $100 billion and is intended to be the most powerful AI system ever created.
Jeez.
The supercomputer is expected to have immense computational capabilities that could lead to new possibilities in areas such as scientific research, drug discovery, and climate modeling.
Is it a quantum? It's a quantum computer, right? It would have to be.
I think so.
If we're talking...
Because I know that the quantum computation fucking like capabilities now are pretty fucking astounding. I don't know what any of that. I don't know what any of that thing that I just said means.
Yeah,
really,
I don't know.
But
I know I've seen pictures of quantum computers, and they look cool as shit.
It looks like something from the...
As somebody that does metalworking, like, because they're all like out of like copper and brass, like they're really cool looking. Fucking,
It's like something from the second...
they look like space
Return
whiskey
to Oz.
stills. Like that's what they look like. They look like space whiskey stills.
They do.
But
Tubing.
Yeah, all the tubing and the copper and fucking
Cooling
like
systems.
cooling
because it's so
systems.
high power.
have you ever looked at like bird's eye view maps of like suburban areas and the layouts?
Yeah,
How it looks like
They look like
microchips.
fucking microchips. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. Something to think about.
And we're going to talk about...
Well, it could also be that just the easiest possible layout of everything is straight lines that go at right angles.
Yeah, it's the way the streets blast out. I don't know. Maybe it's something ingrained. But yeah, the project is part of a 5-phase plan and could begin running as early as 2028. Some reports say that the supercomputer will acquire 5 gigawatts of electrical power and may rely on nuclear reactors to generate the necessary power.
Jeez.
The biggest thing from what I've read about this whole thing is that pretty much all of this is going to be cloud-based, which
So people can access the computational... It's
Yeah.
like Midjourney, you know? It's like you pay to get server time.
I'm already nervous enough with all this AI. Like, I mean, my phone gives me ads when I don't ask because I mention that I need a fucking notebook, and then all of a sudden I get ads for notebooks.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
Never knew notebooks could be this cheap. Click here.
Yeah, exactly.
Alexa and fucking all that shit, like, they have to hear their name. They're already listening.
They're already listening. I never say.
I think they're just listening for keywords.
Yeah, but but they're listening. They're fucking goddamn Fraser Crane. Okay, all the
I'm
time.
listening.
They're always listening.
Yeah, I don't know. The idea of like a cloud burst. I don't know if you'll have heard this concept before. It's something I've heard like theoretical computational people talk about, where like the cloud could burst and then basically it just opens the floodgates of data. So then everyone knows like what you can look at, what you specifically look at on the internet, or your information getting out, basically. Yeah, it's like a potential doomsday scenario in which everything becomes out in the open.
Well, I'll just go ahead and jump ahead of this. I look at transport sometime. You happy?
Spencer,
There, you said it.
I mean, we already knew that.
Well, now I got nothing to hide.
You've been saying, what was the name you've been saying over and over again?
Bailey J. Bailey J, if you're listening, I love you, girl. Fine motherfucker.
I will wait to for that potentiality to occur first before I own up to anything.
I own up to
Oh, wait,
nothing.
is it too early? Let's cut that out. Cut, delete.
Deny everything, make counter accusations.
Deny. Yeah, Darvo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you learn that in your new book?
No, I already knew that one.
Yeah. We've been watching that play in action for quite a while
Yeah.
now. Anyway, that's what's weird this week. So keep that in the back of your head as we move on into the Stargate Conspiracy.
What, the part about Spencer?
Sure, but also the
I like what I like.
the AI program coming into existence called Stargate. Like I said at the top of the show, fucking there's so much to this, but essentially the authors of the book basically are positing a theory throughout everything that they mention in the book that there is a vast cultural push of some sort by people, whether they are wittingly part of it or willingly part of it or otherwise, to essentially establish a potential stand-in as a one-world religion that revolves around ancient alien shit. And this was written in 1998, so keep that in mind. See how things have fucking changed since then.
Not a whole, like...
He was talking about Y2K.
Yeah, they were talking about Y2K. This is a 438-page book, and the pages are actually quite filled. It's not a... what's that guy?
There ain't no double-spaced bullshit.
Yeah, no, what's the guy that fucking...
Picture on
I
every
read
page.
all his... Not all his books, because he read so many... Fucking... God.
Oh, the dude that we had like all... Oh,
No, I'm just
Steedman.
talking about fucking
God.
simple books that you read, the non-fiction, or the fiction...
Highlights Magazine?
Goosebumps.
The guy, man.
Hatchet.
The fucking...
Where the red fern grows.
No, with the Morgan Freeman.
What sick, ridiculous puppets we are, and what a gross little stage we dance on. What fun we have, dancing, fucking, not a care in the world, not knowing that we are not what was intended.
Morgan
Along
Freeman.
came a spider.
Sat down beside her.
Kiss the girls.
Patterson.
James
Yeah,
Patterson.
yeah.
It's not a James Patterson does make some page turners, but they are also like double spaced fucking paragraphs. Like
Yeah.
fucking like you can read a page in 30 seconds.
That's why they're so
max. Actually, like, and that's like fully reading.
You could correct your children with one of those books.
They are good books.
Thick books don't leave marks.
I have read a lot of fucking James Patterson books, and they're good time killers. But this is not a time killer.
Yeah.
This is a
time consumer.
Oh man, because that's the thing. I try, like, as I'm reading, I'm like, oh, let me look this up real quick. Let me look
I
this
had to
up.
stop and search so
It's
much
like when I
shit.
read propaganda lyrics, I have to stop and get a fucking dictionary or encyclopedia.
But that's what lets you know that it's a good fucking book, because like you're like, well, let me check this, and you know what? They had their shit was pretty on point.
It's well researched, and they cite their sources, which I always fucking love.
Do, and they also
Good
they
guy.
present a theory and then also debunk a theory in the same fucking few pages.
Yeah, it's a refreshing. It's refreshing in that way.
Yeah, they're offering multiple viewpoints, and they'll say like maybe this is what's going on,
Yes.
but then maybe that's not exactly what's going on.
Because as
Maybe
we've
this
said,
is going on.
as we've said before, anybody that says they know fucking
What's going on?
they're a fucking asshole and they don't know shit.
Yeah. This basically starts with Giza in Egypt, the whole book. And they get into where people like Graham Hancock and Robert Bovall, and there's another guy named West, I can't remember, but he's another bigger one. And they're getting into this mid to late 90s, like, alternative Egyptology shit. And I don't know if anyone remembers or was around that time, but people like Graham Hancock back in the day were very fuck that guy, he didn't know what he's talking about.
Pyramidians.
Yeah, pyramidians. That's what they called them.
Yes.
The new orthodoxy was the nice way to put it. But yeah, now he's on Joe Rogan. We've got fucking an entire channel, which used to be the Nazi channel, by the way.
And
which
now
I
it's
also think
the
is weird.
Alien Nazi channel.
Now it's the ancient alien channel.
No, it's the ancient alien Nazi channel. But I don't know. Well, to be fair, World War II is one of the most interesting fucking times in all fucking
I used
history.
to like the History Channel.
And
in
it
the
was
90s.
well documented. You got to catch them before 6 a.m. Or actually before 9 a.m.
Now it's all Pawn Stars and
Oh, yeah.
Horse
History,
shit.
You got to go to History Channel 2 for that, just like MTV. You remember when MTV switched
Man,
over?
Fuck those extortionists. It's just like YouTube. Fucking
Is there a YouTube 2 now?
No, but it's the same game. It's like we put a bunch of bullshit here, so you'll fucking pay us for the other thing. It's like when a homeless person comes up and like starts
Gatekeeping.
being annoying.
Yeah, but-
and like give me some money and I'll go away. YouTube and History Channel and MTV2, that's all the same shit.
don't want ads, pay for premium.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to be fair, if you already had cable, you got H1 and H2.
That's true. Yeah.
And MTV
We're locked in a battle with Spectrum right now. It's fucking.
yeah.
So
I don't even have cable. I do all the streaming services now, which
Yeah,
is
me too.
about the same amount as a cable bill every month.
yeah,
I got everything.
Yeah, I do too. It's fucking ridiculous.
I live with old people. Yeah. They bitch about the stupidest shit. Sorry, okay, that's not what we're talking about today. Anyways, so
Put a pin in that for now.
yeah, we'll come back to it at some point, I'm sure. Can't believe they only have W.2s in Spanish
All
at
right,
the
Mike,
library.
So,
HBO Latino West.
all right, Mike, where the fuck are we starting on this? Because because this book
What's
is
center?
there is so much information in this book. And also we did switch topics in the middle of the fucking week.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that was
And thanks for reminding me. By the way, I said something mean to Chris last week.
Oh.
I'm going to take it back. I was also factually
Relish
wrong
it.
about it. You had to be 5'9" to get into the SS.
5'7".
What? I saw 5'9".
Was it 5'7"? I thought it was 5'7".
I saw 5'9".
We'll just split it in the middle, call it 5'8".
There you go. Yeah, it's a good plan. So you could theoretically join your precious Nazi party.
I could have been a Nazi. But no, you said I would be in the camps
Yeah.
because
know.
of my height.
It's because you were talking about social Darwinism and it got me a little hot and pissed off.
Did you get
fucking,
triggered?
Maybe, yeah.
Like, what's his face's horse? Lone Ranger's horse.
Lone Ranger. Trigger. No, that's
Trigger.
Silver.
Well, then hi-ho motherfucking silver.
Who would
Roy
you
Rogers.
Oh, Roy Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thanks. Useless information.
Anyway, I would have survived in Nazi Germany. Thank you.
Yeah. You just yeah. You just wouldn't have been
been a
a
great
top
crowd, everybody.
eugenics candidate.
I would not have been. I could not have been in the SS.
Not that any of us would.
Yeah, I couldn't have been in the SS, and I would not have wanted to be in the SS. Just so you know, I don't want to be in the SS. I don't want to be in the Wehrmacht.
Would have been one of those guys like, yeah, it's just easier to go with the flow, you know?
I don't want to ruffle any feathers.
I mean,
They're being really mean to those Jews. Isn't that weird? Should we say something? Nah, just ignore it. Anyway. Speaking of Nazis.
Apology accepted, Mike.
Yeah. The social Darwinism thing, man, I can't fucking handle it. I mean, I can handle it. It's just
I don't necessarily even believe. I am just. It was part of my frustration with the weakness of society today, and I do think people are weak.
Fundamentally, we agree on
Yeah,
most of what we were
yeah.
talking about last week. But speaking of Nazis, it's a good place to begin
with the aliens.
to a degree. This has been posited as being sort of a organized campaign. This is very much reminiscent of what the Nazi Ahnenerbe was founded to do. That was the sociocultural Himmler-led fucking group of Nazi like archaeologists and historians, etc.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, it's a good documentary.
Yeah, all the Indiana Jones fucking movies were basic.
The last one was pretty good. I mean, not good, but better than the Crystal Skull.
Crystal
pile of
Skull was
shit.
whack as fuck. I didn't see the new one.
It's worth seeing. It's worth seeing. Yeah.
Really?
It's a nice love letter into the series. Yeah. I actually not compared to the first three, but compared to Crystal Skull, it's worth watching.
Yo, the Last Crusade was sick as fuck, bro. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a good
Oh,
fucking.
dude, yeah.
We have many
That's probably my
tapestries.
favorite. Yeah.
But Jehovah starts with an I.
We have many tapestries.
So, yeah, the Ahnenerbe were essentially put together to go around the world and find all these little small nuggets of truth they could use to basically engineer their entire vast bullshit Aryans did it as opposed to aliens did it, which is essentially what we're dealing with now, and all the things that you hear in, History Channel, blah, blah, blah.
did it.
Yeah, exactly. But, really, that's just a sort of model for one way that this conspiracy might be going down. Actually, we can go a little bit farther back to, I would say maybe the Age of Enlightenment. And you have all these, like, philosopher scientists and Masons, big deal.
Yep.
Who
they still use a lot of Egyptian symbology.
Yes. Yeah, the Memphis and Mizraim rites and shit like that. Albert Pike.
And I will say a quick aside.
Memphis isn't just a city in Tennessee.
That is the biggest thing that
that's Little Egypt.
As far as archaeologists are concerned, they accuse like Graham Hancock and all that it's racist. That you're like saying that Egyptians couldn't have built these pyramids or these people couldn't have built that. One of the main things they throw out there to counter these theories is, that's racist. That's racist. Because,
I just think they had tools that we haven't discovered that they had yet.
Which it's like nobody's saying that it wasn't. Hey, maybe that ancient culture was fucking purple. Who knows? Fucking, whatever.
I mean,
they weren't purple, but
that is one argument. And then I don't know.
Everybody was probably really brown back then.
I think if you throw enough slaves at a project, you're gonna get some shit done.
Well, that's the thing. They say that the pyramids were not built by slaves at all.
Well, built by large amounts of people, but they weren't.
They
weren't like
conscripted
1850s American slaves.
Well, let's also talk about like if it
wasn't
was
a plantation.
They were people who could come and go as they please, but the logistics of having to like feed all these people and shit like that, and like keep a work camp going.
And well, that's that was one of the things
Which proves they had the technology to feed all those people.
Well, there was they found receipts. It was actually like one of the oldest receipts is the receipt from that the pharaoh or whatever at the time actually had a receipt like for all the supplies he had to get for the workers.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I think it was Kafra.
I personally have not seen these receipts.
Yeah,
but I heard about them.
I think George W. did a joke about it.
It'd be on papyrus, right?
Yeah.
Clay tablets?
Clay tablets, I think.
Yeah.
The Renaissance era, the Age of Enlightenment, you have all these pseudo-mystical Christians, Masons, big part of it, people like John Dee, stuff like this. Like, there are people who are predominantly, and I see this as a running theme through all this shit, they seem to be occupied with the concept of Atlantis. And everything can sort of, like, the problem with Atlantis, because that's what the Nazis were all about, too. They were like, we come from Thule, a.k.a. Atlantis, or fucking some lost civilization somewhere. The whole lost civilization idea is that it's a cipher. You don't know who it was or what they did. Atlanteans could be fucking white. They could be whatever.
Exactly.
They could be fucking lizards for all we know.
Well, they mixed. They were getting their shit from Maria or Abramovic.
Orsic?
Right? Or Orsic.
She's
not
not
Marisa. No. What? Blavatsky.
Oh, yeah.
I'm mixing the goddamn mediums up. But and she really got it from a guy that was a way early science fiction writer. That wrote about the fucking
the Vril
and all that stuff,
yeah.
And they mixed that with the Atlantis thing.
Well, see, and here's another crazy byline with all this shit all throughout history too. There seems to be a preoccupation with like occult eugenics. So the idea of occult eugenics runs through a lot of shit. It's been around forever, really. If you think about like. The best way I can point it out is examples. So going back even to like the Golden Dawn in the late 1800s, Crowley, all these people, you have like moonchild rituals.
Crowley.
Whatever. Actually, he used to say, people who find me holy call me Crowley, and people who wish to treat me foully call me Crowley.
I'll call it Crowley.
Yeah,
Crowley.
All right, do you
treat
him holy?
Not really.
He liked to be treated foully.
Yeah, he did. He
put his face in the dirt a little bit.
He did. I think Spencer and fucking Crowley would fucking be tight as fuck.
Well, it's a good thing we're separated by many decades.
Many generations. Yeah, there's ideas of, like, certain sex magic rites that are supposed to, like, call spirits into the children that you're having. All kinds of weird ritual angles on reproduction, which plays into alien shit a little bit as well. But, you know, the whole idea of Jack Parsons and doing the Babylon working and trying to, like, impregnate, what was her name, Marjorie Cameron with, like, a moonchild, etc. Like,
Well, isn't all the theories of aliens coming down, abducting people, getting their jizz, like, that's eugenics?
I mean, in a way.
Yeah,
But like I was
all the
saying,
hybrid theories and everything.
Yeah, but also when you go back through history, like if you're looking at the
Or are they just making pugs?
Jacques Vallée, is that how you say it?
Vallée.
It's got 2 E's at the end, so
Yeah, but it's got that little thing.
okay.
It's
like
valet.
I don't know. Didn't you take French?
pate. No.
No, I believe it's pronounced valet.
So Jacques, Dr. Jacques, fucking that's why he makes
Accentuate
all
the
the comparisons with like the myths and history of like incubus and succubus, like the whole like sex demons thing, or the changeling idea with elves. You know, you have these half human, half elf hybrid children or whatever.
Excuse me while I burn.
There's been a whole like reproductive angle through the whole thing, through all that weird like ultra terrestrial history.
People
whatever you
been
wanna
thinking
call
about
it.
fucking since dawn
Well, I
of
mean, it's
time.
like biological colonialism.
Exactly.
Genetic colonialism.
It's why like Christian movements like the Quiverful people or whatever the fuck. It's like
Yeah.
why they're so against abortion and having lots of babies because it makes more Christians.
Well,
And so if there's a weird like non-human contingent out there that's interbreeding with us, then they're making more of themselves. Essentially, it's a form of colonialism.
Then they come in and take my job.
But they work
won't
for
have it.
half the pay.
Oh man, I had it. Never
taking
mind. I had
taking all the good alien landscaping jobs.
So yeah, there is a whole like weird occult angle of contact with these beings or sex magic rites and things that play in with that. And of course, once again, you mentioned Blavatsky earlier. She had the whole like root races idea,
Yes.
which played very into the Nazi eugenics shit. So there is a whole like cultural breeding and like keeping bloodlines pure and all this shit.
And
this
yet,
idea. That
I
plays
did
through a
make
lot
it
of
to that part of this book where he was talking about the 9, and that was actually part of their thing too.
Really, I didn't.
You didn't catch that part?
I don't think so.
The authors were actually very offended by that.
Huh?
Yeah, you didn't
Okay.
catch that part. Yeah,
Maybe I didn't. Just forgot. I don't know.
No, they were very. The author was like, "Well, that's obviously problem." Like they didn't say problematic because that's a modern term. Kind
Yeah.
of.
They didn't have that word in '98.
Yeah, I mean, well,
not like we have it now.
they did, but it wasn't used in the same context. But yeah, that was part of the thing because the 9 were talking about the like races that there were levels of races.
Yeah, yeah. And I saw there was something else about like
and it wasn't just black white.
It was all
like essentially all this stuff goes back to like the starseed hypothesis, which actually science is lately showing to be more of a true idea. Like somehow life was seeded on our planet from outside.
Panspermia.
Yes, from outside, the galaxy or whatever.
sounds kinky.
There is some science to back that idea up. Whether it was intentional or not, we have no idea. But the idea of this whole like pure bloodlines and shit like that, and tracing things back to Atlantis, because Atlantis is a cipher. Nobody knows who the fuck these people were. So you can always like claim that you're coming from like the Hyperboreans or Lemuria, and that's why you're better than everybody fucking else. So there is this angle that plays into things like that. And the shit I was mentioning earlier about like the Renaissance and the Masons and all these like pseudo-mystical Christians and esotericists and alchemists, etc. All these people were into Atlantis too. I believe it was either not Francis Bacon, Roger Bacon. I know his last name was Bacon.
Not
but
Kevin?
It wasn't Kevin Bacon. Very many separate degrees from Kevin Bacon. But he constantly referred to America as the new Atlantis. And like all these Masonic forefathers and all those guys, fucking George Washington, Ben Franklin, who knows in the Hellfire Club, etc. All these guys were fucking into that idea. Like they were into the ideas of John Locke and all these other fucking like thinkers that came a couple centuries before them, who played into this idea that they are basically carrying on the torch of some secret school of thought and or bloodline that's being brought into today. And I think that kind of idea is being transposed into the New Age. And when we talk about the New Age, you can basically trace that starting back to a guy named Edgar Casey that they talk about in this book a lot.
The sleeping psychic.
Yeah, we brought him up on the show once or twice before. Also a Mason. He was also a trance medium.
Son of a Mason, too.
Yep.
Son of a fucking Mason.
So yeah, this guy, Edgar Casey, he was one of the first people that repopularized the whole Atlantis craze and got built into the whole New Age movement as it progressed through, the hippie era and what we have today with all these women out in Sonoma with crystals, etc.
I was going to bring out Sonoma. Like, I don't know why Sonoma is like the epitome of New Age. Like, that is the epicenter of fucking New Age. Like, anytime you think of New Age, Sonoma comes up.
And most of these, like, I have my own fucking. I'm kind of mostly on the fence, on the bullshit side towards channeling and things like that, because it's hard to tell. Like, you can't verify it really. Supposedly, there's been experiments done, but I couldn't find any of the data of how to scientifically verify.
Of course not.
Supposedly, during some of the remote viewing and psychic investigations that were going on coming out of MK Ultra sub-project, MK Often, which was looking into fucking occultism and shit like that, which is notoriously difficult to find any fucking, like, specific information on, which makes me think that there maybe is something to it.
Either that or, like, in The Hangover afterwards, they're like, oh, this is a fucking waste of time. Let's shred this shit.
But supposedly they're putting, like, different people in Faraday cages and having them channel shit or do remote viewing sessions, and they were getting the same results, basically.
The remote viewing, there is some compelling instances in what we're talking about here with the pyramids.
Yeah. And most of these remote viewers saw pyramids, oddly enough. They reported seeing pyramids in a lot of their...
In ancient cities, yeah.
Yep. And they would even check out planets. And most of these people were, like, given coordinates or, like, a location to look at without knowing what it was specifically. And then they'd fucking open an envelope that they were given by their handler or whoever, and then it turns out it's Mars. So there's a famous story by Ingo Swann, who's one of the most, like, successful, competent psychics / remote viewers that was part of this program. He was training people for I can't remember if it was the CIA or the Pentagon. One of them. But he fucking went to the moon remote viewing and found, like, alien bases and shit, things like that, etc. So
sounds like another spiritualist party trick to me, but
I know it's so hard to, how do you back this shit up and verify most of it? Now, what's weird about a lot of channeling shit, and this is also before the age of the internet, so maybe information is harder to come by, but there is a group of aliens called the Ashtar Command. Have y'all heard of these guys?
Oh, yeah, the Ashtar Command. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I seen one on the bus the other day.
Yeah. They're the beautiful Nordic people from outer space who are also, like, the galactic fleet.
Oh, wait, no, that one
Like
was on the bus.
The chick from Vikings.
They don't have to ride the bus. Oh, man.
Lagatha?
Put that away later. Yes. So the Ashtar Command is basically been channeled by separate sources, supposedly, who didn't know each other. It's another one of those sort of DMT elf situations where it's like, okay, different people are saying that they're getting information from this source.
That they couldn't have possibly been colluding.
Right, yeah. So there is some independent corroboration from various sources on some of this stuff. So there is something to it, I would say, to a degree. But
even those sources of evidence.
Yeah, and these sources are the government. And I trust them just about as fucking far as I can shit sideways. Yeah. Whatever that means.
If you lay on your side,
shit like I used to.
If you lay on your side, you can shit sideways.
No, because you still,
Yeah, you just gotta, like, curl up into the squat position.
The logistical problem.
While you're, you're...
Every toilet I've ever seen has...
What scientific method this shit?
No room to lay on your side.
Nobody said anything about a toilet.
Sure, yeah. Well, shit the bed.
yeah. You can shit anywhere. I mean...
But the idea of Atlantis and America being the new Atlantis, and Edgar Casey bringing up back Atlantis into the modern era.
My little theory on Atlantis?
Yeah?
it was so far back in time that it's been swallowed into the earth like plate tectonic shit.
Yeah.
That
And
it can't be found. It's not underwater. It's like melted back into the mantle.
Yeah. Like I saw another bit of quote unquote hard science on this.
Like a million years ago.
They have found like carbon crystals that are released from living things, breathing them out in fossils. And the oldest place they can get the places they can get the oldest fossils on Earth still are Australia, I think Greenland. I might be wrong on that second one, but I know Australia for sure. But they've found these carbon crystals that supposedly go way the fuck back before there was like any record as far as science knows.
Yeah,
of
before we
living-
even knew we had bacteria and yeah.
Before any motherfucker was throwing shrimp on a goddamn Barbie.
That's true. Yeah.
Or doing knifey spooning.
Yeah, and then that goes to the whole Big Bang theory and the age of the universe. You know, this James Webb has proven that there's shit, that there was galaxies being formed way before we ever thought possible. It's basically just pissing right in the face of the Big Bang theory.
And it's weird because the whole ancient aliens idea
sucks.
Yeah, fuck that show.
Which show?
Blossom's hot, though.
Oh, yeah, the whole ancient aliens idea is just it's essentially a repackaging of the idea of creationism. And it's weird because this alleged conspiracy does have a lot of evangelical Christians involved in it, which is strange because you would think...
Why would they be barking up that tree? Yeah.
Exactly.
I prefer it.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
part of me wishes that it is true, and
Maybe
hopes it
they're
is.
trying to disprove it, so they're doing research on this thing,
That could
disprove
be
it
it.
to prove
That's
that the
the-
world is only 6,000 years
That's
old.
the thing. Well, that's the thing. What I like with the ancient, because they're like, you know, they mix in all the bit, and they're like, well, see, your Bible stuff was actually this.
Yeah.
It's actually a much
all religions is
I-
what they're trying to create a one world religion.
When I went
with
to my
aliens.
aunt's the other day to pick up my mail, she was like, let me give you this DVD.
I need a raise for being your secretary.
No, because all my magazines smelled like cat pee.
Done and done.
Yeah. But she gave me this DVD, which we will watch because I assume it's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, you're telling us
She
about
says, like,
that.
no, it's not religious. It's not. And I'm like, she's like, but they explain how in the Bible,
Explain how religion is
one
all
day
true.
is 1,000 years, and so 2,000 years after Jesus,
Maybe when the Earth was hooked
and
underneath
he died
Saturn.
in 33. So my aunt she's planning to be raptured in the next 10 years.
I
And-
think most people are, or a lot of people are.
Well, we're all gonna die, you know, and things.
I give it 30. 50.
But you know what? People have been expecting, and I'm like, look, everybody's been
Ever
expecting the
since-
rapture
Yeah.
since the dawn of
They just
time.
keep
People are
pushing
like,
back the
everything's gonna end.
Yep.
You know, like
It's a weird.
He's like, oh, my biblical math was off. It's actually going to be next month,
Yeah,
not today.
that's how it is with every doomsday prophecy. It's like, oh, I forgot to carry the Y or whatever the fuck.
again, don't let your. I guess is she a boomer? She's 60 something.
She'd be a boomer.
She's a boomer. Yeah. Don't let your boomers watch YouTube videos. It's just because.
Oh, my mom just believes the most
she-
horse shit that she never used to believe until she got on YouTube.
Especially YouTube
Like, well,
preachers.
he's British, so...
Well, are you retarded?
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
He's got to
Listen
be
to
telling
him.
the truth.
She-
He's got an accent, and he says he's a cardiologist.
Probably went to Oxford.
I missed when she was just watching ID Discovery and thought that every boyfriend my cousin got was going to murder her for money.
That's a little more.
That was
manageable.
Miss those good
Yeah,
old days,
that was
yeah.
manageable. Yeah, now she watches fucking YouTube videos and Netflix and thinks that fucking everything she sees is real.
Well, this is another reason we do this fucking show, for conspiracy theory literacy.
Yeah.
Make you
Yeah,
fucking
Mom,
think
stay off
critically.
the YouTube if you're listening.
The idea that I don't know. See, the other reason that part of me wishes this is kind of true is because I think a lot of this also feeds into the upcoming or currently ongoing, depending on where you stand, psychedelic renaissance, and all these same guys, Graham Hancock, etc., talking about how
He's big into mushrooms, too. yeah.
exactly like and also more historians are finding out that civilization kind of came into being largely due to fucking drug use,
Like the
psychedelic
stoned
drug
ape
use.
Yeah,
theory.
the stoned ape theory, which
And then all the ancient drug use in fucking Greece and Rome for religious ritual purposes, shit like that.
Flesh of the gods.
Yep. And then fucking here comes a little religion called Christianity. Fucks everything
Kind
up.
of ruined everything.
Yeah. That's also why these evangelical Christians might be involved with all these like
They're trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah, archaeological
that's mine.
surveys. Yeah, because they're like, we don't want this to totally fucking blow our cover story of how he hijacked the fucking world.
Yeah, and when everyone saw their own fucking god, they had their own thoughts, and then but it's like no, you need to listen to just this one god.
Yeah, and even if
that does the things that I want you to do.
Yeah, and that's the word. The word entheogen for hallucinogens means like the god inside.
Makes you see, yeah.
Yeah, and even
inside.
Then. You should fucking take it with a grain of salt, whatever revelation you're given on hallucinogens, even then, think critically about it.
Yeah, stay off your phone until it's all over.
Yeah, fucking throw that shit under the fucking bed or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah.
So, yeah, the idea that basically there can be a whole, like, vast cultural, largely academic, scientific, historical, manipulated narrative, as we've seen that the Nazis tried to do with the Ahnenerbe, and then you have like this new age equivalent. Edgar Casey comes along. He talks about in his prophecies, quote unquote, there being
big quote unquote
the discovery of a quote unquote hall of records discovered underneath the Sphinx, which last I heard. They found all kinds of different shit in Egypt, but nobody fucking talks about it. Nobody.
Yeah, no one can go down there.
Yeah, it's all, and that's another bone of contention throughout this book is that Zawi Hawass, the guy who's like the top dog.
You've seen him if you've seen him.
Motherfucker.
If you've seen any of those fucking things,
he actually has connections to a group called R, the Association for Research and Enlightenment, which is the Edgar Casey Foundation. But at the same time, he flip-flops, and all these guys flip-flop on like who's bullshitting and who's got an agenda and whatever, because there's some kind of strange conflict going on in the background of whatever the fuck, but everyone is like 100% sure they're gonna find a discovery in ancient Egypt.
That's gonna make them famous.
Yeah, that's gonna rewrite everything we know about it.
I don't know. There's a lot of sand to dig up out there. You can find a lot of shit.
Yeah, there's and it's not just Edgar Casey. There's also like some Rosicrucian.
H.C. Randall Stevens and H. Spencer Lewis.
Yes, that's the guy from the ancient mystical order of the Rosy Cross. They were like Rosicrucians from California.
That was H. Spencer Lewis. Yeah,
California Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
That sounds like a swinging bunch of motherfuckers right there.
They're pretty square, actually.
Of course. Catholicism.
Actually, not really. Yeah, a lot of these guys are, there's like this just recurring through line through all these mystics and shit that there is a connection from Egypt to a precursor civilization, usually Atlantis, because that's why all these guys are trying to say that, no, the pyramids were made at this point, or they're made with this technology or this magic or whatever.
Yet still, it doesn't. I don't know. There are things that counteract, and people say, well, I have this evidence that shows that it was here, and this evidence that shows it was here. But that's the thing. We are bombarded with so much information from so many different fronts, and I don't trust anybody. So I don't. That's the thing. Like, just like watching the fucking news on all the different channels, the only thing you can do is try to personally sift through the bullshit and get a little from this one, a little from that one, and try to find what's really happening in the middle, which you still don't know because everybody's talking so much bullshit.
Where the news event was made, then you're getting some kind of partisan bullshit.
Or consider the source, who's saying it, and maybe why they're saying it.
Which
it's just media literacy.
Follow the money.
On the cool that just makes me think of the fucking stupid fucking flat Earth people, because in reality, do they know that the space telescope? Like, they don't have a space telescope.
Explain mountains.
Yeah, exactly.
Very flat.
Yeah, exactly. But still, like, I kind of get it, I guess. But at the same time, they're fucking retarded.
Are you retarded?
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
When you take the level of distrust, it's like, I don't know. It's hard, man.
Yeah, I
like,
think
if
you should
go to
question everything.
You should question everything, but at the same time, it's like, God, when does it stop? You know?
Yeah.
Because like I can't do. Am I real right now? Am I real? Is this happening? I don't fucking know. Or who are you? What are you? Are you a fucking alien? I don't fucking know. Like, it's a
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
There's an alien in the kitchen
what?
right now.
What's a Jesus? I don't know what a fucking Jesus is. Explain no Jesus.
Why is time counting
He's an excellent
backwards to
bowler.
year 0?
8-year-olds, dude.
How is it only to
Ugh.
year 3 and I'm 28 years old?
Yeah, I don't. It's you get my point. It's
the
I'm
oceans are flat.
I'm a simple man.
I'm just a caveman.
I can't possibly say that I understand everything. I just have to take people's word for it sometimes, like in scientists, and that's the thing. You're trying to balance out whose word you're taking for it, and I don't know. It's a tough one.
That's the thing about the flat earthers in particular. I know this is tangential, but
Yeah.
in the actual flat earth society, it's like less than 2,000 members. They have this huge presence, but like the real people, like the society, is an incredibly small amount of people.
That's because, I don't know, it's always like the loudest motherfuckers, or, that's...
Yeah, it's
I
like
can't even
2,000
finish
big
them.
mouths that know how
Yeah,
to manipulate
exactly.
social media.
But at the same time, it could just be trolls that started the
That
whole
too.
fucking thing. That's
Or a
the,
psyop to make other conspiracies look fucking retarded.
Well,
Which
yeah,
I kinda
but
think
that's the
has
I buy
thing.
that
merit
for
to it.
$1.
I think most of the goddamn conspiracies are really just, like QAnon. The good prevailing theory, other than that Asian guy and the other people that are and his dad that are fucking out in Asia to
Thailand.
Asian.
They're in sexually gross places.
Yeah.
For
And once again, Darvo, it's always the motherfuckers who methinks the horse doth protest too
Yeah.
much. Those motherfuckers are usually the ones doing the bad thing.
But the other theory is that it was really just based off of trolls. People made some shit up because they thought it was funny, and other people saw it and rolled with it.
Yeah.
And then it just...
This is the post-truth retarded world we live in now.
Are you fucking retarded?
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing, because we're going back to the birth before all this, and just like we were talking earlier, it's like, how did we know about fucking goddamn Marilyn Manson's rib? You know, how did these things spread before? These theories, these ideas, the nonsense that could just be spread around.
The old rumor mill,
and
man.
And sometimes, I would say most times actually, most of these things do have one little nugget, like kernel foundation of truth that
100%.
people use as their foundation to build their shitty house on. So
Did Marilyn Manson ever try to suck his own dick? Yep.
I heard he has a clitoris in the
hasn't?
back of his throat.
Hey. You remember that friend we had? We had those friends. There was a picture of a friend of a friend. He did that. He was able to do that. He was flexible. He's real skinny.
I've had that recurring dream like 30 times.
That you could suck your own dick?
Yeah, I could get all the way down to the root, and then I wake up a little disappointed.
mouth tastes a little weird.
No, it's just, man, I mean...
No, because he didn't make it.
If I could blow myself, you'd find me under 635 with a big white fucking Van Rimple fucking beard with my neck...
Looking like a
with
toaster
my
strudel.
neck calcified into a C shape, and I'd be happy all day.
We were all 13 once.
I'd
I
die
think,
with my cock in my mouth.
Let's isolate that.
Yeah. I want to get a flag with a chopped up snake.
That's right, I said it. I don't got no secrets.
All right. That's a Kooks Cranks merch right there.
Yeah.
Spencer's face with "I died with my cock in
Under
my
635.
Yeah.
LBJ.
Anyway,
We're cooking some stuff up.
Anyway, where are we? Where are we?
So, I guess, like, from Edgar Casey, he's, like, the guy who was sort of, like, the unofficial architect of the New Age. A lot of this, and, Madame Blavatsky, like you mentioned earlier, she got co-opted by the Nazis, of course.
Now, have
They
we
ran
we tracked down where the actual birth of the Sonoma New Age comes from?
I would say it's mostly hippie culture.
I mean, yeah, well,
New Age burnout.
aged hippies in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like,
Hippies,
hippies in their 30s, 40s.
Like the people that grew up alongside the Grateful Dead.
There's
Grateful Dead.
and this is one of the other like weird sort of background things that not a lot of people know, but it's all over in this book, is that a lot of these people who were even in the 50s probably, who were getting into psychedelic drugs, who were into what is now called parapsychology or psychical research, like the proto-hippies were also people who had military connections and worked for all these research foundations and colleges and industries that were really looking into this shit.
We got to eventually do Laurel Canyon.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that at some point.
That'll be
for
a
sure.
good one.
Yeah, the whole hippie movement, it's probably very likely that it was engineered to a degree.
Well, I think there's some naturalness to it, but also once the naturalness started happening, the people, those
stepped in quick.
The they them, and I don't mean the they them now, I mean the they them government or whoever took advantage of it. They're like, well, shit, we're gonna roll with this.
Yeah.
Well, that's clear. I mean, they infiltrated quick.
Infiltration for sure. I don't think the whole thing was engineered. I think there was a natural thing to it, and it was taken advantage of.
There was a lot of people who were, trying to fight the good fight, but a lot of it was also very me.
Oh yeah, but hey, everybody needs a me time,
Yeah, but when you're like abandoning your family to join a fucking commune and self-actualize,
and hope you'll become the leader one day.
Yeah. Well, when you're a teenager, just fucking
corporate ladder,
drifting around the world.
Everybody looks for answers at some point.
Yeah, and in the robust time of the 60s and 70s of America,
it was a robust,
busty
busty time.
Real robusto.
Shit. I mean,
it was real restrictive too. That's why
people weren't as hygienic back then as you would think.
Well, yeah.
Lysol started as a douche.
In
1900s. So yeah, like guys that we're about to get into. Now, there's a lot of weird connections on this shit. We've talked about the 9 before, and this is sort of like the nucleus of this whole cell and the idea behind this cultural push of getting all this one world fucking religion of ancient aliens underlying all the other religions, like the Nephilim were aliens. Like everything's got their little weird alien component to it. But the 9, as we mentioned before, were a group of very well-connected people, very wealthy people, very resourceful people who believed with total conviction that they were telepathically in contact with an alien intelligence. Several alien intelligences, although it's kind of murky as to whether, I don't know, some of the transmissions, whatever you're going to call them, they talk about how there are 9 different principles of a single cosmic force or whatever.
Yeah, they're 9, but they're also 1.
Yeah, exactly. And then while I'm thinking about it now, just so I bring it back to the AI I mentioned earlier, this same voice operating through different mediums, because they've used Uri Geller, who I'm pretty sure is a total fucking fraud, and then this Phyllis Schlemmer woman, and there was another guy named Bobby Home or Bobby Horn, who was very shortly lived career with them as well as their sort of channeler. And what's fucked up is all these people that Puharich was investigating for having telepathic abilities.
Puharich, nice lady.
He fucking hypnotized all of them, which is extra weird because he was trying to hypnotize these people and say, like, what's the source of your ability? But also there's anytime you have hypnotism involved with someone who has a government background and all that, it's very MK Ultra. Could be some programming stuff going on. I don't know.
I'd like to just submit myself to that and see if anybody. I don't think
see if they can break you.
Yeah, I don't think they can.
Just because of that, you're probably really susceptible to it.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
They say in order to get hypnotized, you have to believe hypnotism is real.
I don't believe in anything.
That's true. I mean,
I knew a guy that quit smoking cigarettes
it just
after one session.
Makes me think of the line on The Departed with Matthew, or no, what's that guy's fucking name?
Leonardo?
Nah, the other one.
Keep him in the dark and feed him shit?
No. No. What about the Irish? they're impervious to psychoanalysis.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, like
Oh, that was the therapist that said that.
well,
right?
no, he said that. He quoted that, and the therapist was like, "Yeah, that was
Ah.
Freud said that or whatever."
Yeah, Puharich, he was Uncle Sam's favorite paranormal investigator. He started out doing a lot of cool shit, like good things for people,
A
making
lot
like,
of different things, yeah.
Yeah, he invented all these like hearing aids that were supposed to help deaf people.
But
building
they're
shit
also
for the military. And then he went out looking for magic mushrooms because he had this idea that he's not entirely wrong, I think. Could
that there's a
induce
drug out
telepathy.
there.
Matt Damon, excuse me, sorry.
Matt Damon.
He thought that they could find the magic mushroom, which they did, and that he thought they could also harness it for use of like artificial telepathy, which there
I
might
mean,
be something to that.
I get.
And then it quickly is like, how can we weaponize this?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, everything's how can we weaponize it,
Mm.
but not. Why is it always how can we weaponize it? Why is it not how can we just have a good?
You know,
fucking
there's
time?
lyrics in one of my favorite band's new song that says, "We won't understand dark matter until we can make a weapon out of it."
That's probably
You know.
Oh, they've already tried, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they're
Well, a lot
working
of people think that's what
frantically.
CERN is doing right now.
Yeah.
That's the problem with not understanding science. Like, oh, God, we need to change our.
Well,
fucking
that's the thing. Not
education system.
everybody can completely, and that's kind of what I was going earlier. Not everyone can fucking specialize and spend fucking 8 years trying to fucking
Yeah.
understand something, and then another 10 years actually studying one specific fucking thing.
Yeah.
So that's why you, unfortunately, just have to take people's word for it sometimes.
Multidisciplinary. Yeah, and that's the problem with having evidence of like scientific lab studies. It's like I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, I don't know what this
What
means.
am I reading? What am I looking
like
at?
you can tell me this, but like I don't know what
Well,
the fuck
there's a
you're talking-
scientific method, you know.
There is a scientific
Yeah,
method.
and I mean, some of it's able to be backed up, yes, but like when you're looking at like a report that someone's like,
And then when you talk about every goddamn Joe fucking asshole, you know, like
yeah, fudging numbers or.
I like to think that I used to be smart, and I still have I struggle, you know, like
Is he smart?
you know, or is he like me?
Oh God, still gets me. I got goosebumps.
I quoted Forrest Gump today, and the youngster at work just looked at me stupid.
Oh fuck him.
Now you know what he feels like.
Exactly.
You're the dummy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joke's on you. I'm impervious to AIDS. So yeah.
Apparently he was.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Maybe he's got the sauce we all need.
I do want to read that other book.
The one where he goes into space with the monkey and Raquel Welch.
Yeah. I want to read that shit.
What a fucking cynical cash grab that sounds like.
Yeah.
So yeah, Puharich was doing parapsychology studies for the Army, for private groups, and he ended up starting his own group called the Round Table Foundation, which would also eventually go on to become the Nine, or Lab 9. A lot of weird connections with this fucking group. Arthur M. Young, one of the guys who sort of helped fund and was hanging around and going to these quote-unquote seances and channeling sessions, he worked for Bell Helicopter, which is now Bell Textron, right over here in Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
Shut up.
Worked next to a guy, I believe it was Walter Dornberger, paperclip Nazi, brought over. Fucking, they were co-workers at Bell Helicopter. So there's some fishy Nazi defense industry connections. With
Yeah, a
these
lot of our
people.
tech came from paperclip.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
or
yeah.
spouted from paperclip.
A lot of old money connections.
And is it always fair to call them Nazis just because they came from Germany in the German fucking Nazi period?
They were working for the Nazis.
Well,
No, they were.
you'd say work or don't. You know,
These were high-ranking dudes. Like
Yeah,
put in,
but they
like-
may have. Some of them, what Chris is saying is that
some of them were party line
may have
people.
just been doing it because they had to.
had no choice.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do?
I mean, most of them did believe
I
about.
mean,
the
yeah,
spirit race
because
and all
I
that.
mean, a lot of these guys are scientists, psychologists, etc. And
You'd like to think some of them.
And they're all fucking nerds, man. They just want to fucking twiddle with their fucking rockets and shit.
Their fucking
Yeah.
slide rules.
They're like, I don't care who's paying the bills. Let me play with my rockets and leave me alone.
yeah,
You know?
I don't
Good
care
point,
if
good
these are
point.
used to destroy civilization.
Yeah,
I
well-
just want to make them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but a lot of it really wasn't. The research, a lot of the research was just research.
Yeah. That's the crazy stuff about all the like psychological and drug research that started and became MK Ultra when it got to America. And fucking also, America invented eugenics. So I mean, you know, we didn't invent it, but we fucking, you know,
we perfected it.
We systemized it.
I don't know. Technically, farmers invented eugenics.
Yeah, it's been around forever.
Yeah, you find out. Let me get that big bull to breed with that big heifer,
applying it to
and make a fucking sweet fucking cow, so I can get some steaks and brisket later.
They called it Punnett squares in middle school biology.
Yeah, I remember those.
See,
enlightening. No, it's all good. America was the first one to like, you know, try
technically
to mass produce it.
The term eugenics, we did it first.
Yeah.
That's why it's in English.
And the more disagreeable parts, like you know, castrating mentally defective people, etc., things like that. Anywho, yeah, these other people involved. Hold on, let me get my notes. So Arthur Young, that's a direct line to old money and paperclip Nazis and defense industry. Who else?
Paperclip German scientists.
Yeah, I mean. Nazi adjacent is Nazi as far as I'm concerned. I don't know, but whatever. Paperclip scientists. There you go. I'll
I mean, to be fair, like, we don't know what their party line was.
I don't know. I think a lot of these guys were true believers. Like the ones that got brought over for Paperclip.
Very good possibility.
I think so.
But there's also a very good possibility they were just like fucking scientists.
Yeah. I mean, I know all the people
I think
like...
it's some from column A, some from
yeah,
column
like,
I mean...
Reinhard Gehlen and the Gehlen org, total story.
How many ultra-liberal fucking scientists work for our government right now?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, a lot. A lot. But they're
I
doing...
said, I don't know, and you said exactly a lot.
Well, that's the thing, because there's so many of them. How many of them actually, like, believe in what the government's doing? They believe in the science that they're working on, and that's what they're working on.
Yeah, see, the thing about science and scientists
is it could be used for good or evil.
Well, there's that, but also, I don't know, and maybe this is just my own middle-class upbringing and natural prejudices, but I think anyone who...
Prejudice?
Yes, who has the means and the resources to attend a specific college for many, many years in order to earn these degrees and these disciplines and PhDs and MDs or whatever. I'm just very cautious about that because it's not because if you have money you're a bad person, but when you go through that system, it's the connections you make and the people you become affiliated with, things like that. So I'm at least very, I'll say, cautious about these people.
Yeah, I would say that, but also Germany at that time also, I mean, Albert Einstein came over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he was a Jew.
Yeah.
You know, we had
to get the fuck out of town.
We not only got their best German scientists, later we got all their Jewish scientists first.
It's weird that fucking they
first came the Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, they I forgot who it was. It was like a Nazi scientist named Kammler, I think, who worked at Pienemann. He like created a whole like separate kind of physics because they didn't want to rely on Einsteinian Jew physics, quote unquote. So there's like a whole weird like fucking
he can't and
it
whole
goes into
different
like
thing, whole
world
different thing.
ice theory and all
I
kinds
can't
of
fucking even like I remember reading and listening to I listened to a podcast on that and I read about it and it's just a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. I can't break it down. My brain took it in, but it spit it back out.
Yeah, the entities, quote unquote, the intelligent, the people were that they were channeling and having these seances for. It also presented itself as a artificial intelligence at one point and said that it was called Spectra, and it was a artificial intelligence on a ship docked outside far from
I think
Earth.
we got to get these 9 books.
Yeah,
we got to do these too.
Because this thing is like giving several stories, basically.
It's so many stories in here. Like there's so much.
Unfortunately, all the stories that were all the recorded documentation with the Uri Geller and the channeling.
Yeah,
the tapes all magically disappeared.
Yeah,
they magically erased themselves.
Yeah.
Funny that.
Yeah, how convenient.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, like that's the problem with these. Anytime I see this a lot in like stuff with like trance mediums and people who are contacting spirits or aliens or whatever, these things fucking lie all the time. Or they'll give information and people try to track it down in real life. There's a guy who wrote a book called like The Siren Call of Hungry Ghosts, who, it's a true story. He got into this whole thing with these like trance mediums, and this one spirit, quote unquote, was coming and talking to him through different mediums and was telling him that they were lovers in a past life. He just got out of like a bad breakup, so he was very susceptible to this shit.
Emotionally, yeah.
Yeah, and it was telling him like, you know, giving him like specific places and dates, and he's like trying to go and verify information, and some of it checked out, some of it didn't, but eventually he ended up fucking took himself out because supposedly he wanted to be reunited with this thing that was emotionally manipulating him through different people. And that's also what's weird about it too, is these intelligences exhibiting themselves through different channelers or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's strange. Look into the Siren Call of Hungry Ghosts and find the book. Look up the guy who wrote it. One of the big, like, main focuses of this was also the Stanford Research Institute. And this is where we get the remote viewing program.
Yes.
Puharich.
Yeah, Puharich. And then we get Russell Targ and Hal Puthoff. And then what's interesting about some of these other guys who were doing remote viewing stuff, like they ended up farmed out to the CIA, the Pentagon, various places, and they were finding stuff out, and their superiors were finding out what they're finding out, and they're like, how does this guy know, you know, this is what we're calling this program?
How does he know
like
about that chick back in Madison?
Pat Price, who was one of the guys that got farmed out to the CIA, one of their remote viewers, ended up mysteriously murdered. The former police chief.
Boy,
too.
that happens a lot,
Yeah,
man.
a lot of people who get involved with those guys.
Mysterious murders, mysterious wait, can I?
Suicided?
Oh wait, I get suicided. I can
Yeah.
say fuck.
Yeah.
We're on Spotify. I
Yeah.
can say suicided.
I'm so used to like
Yeah.
YouTube and seeing all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ridiculous...
They have to like blurb every fucking goddamn thing.
Yeah. Even Renaissance paintings of titties. Ridiculous.
No shit.
Yep.
Jesus. But it's only for the first 30 minutes of the video.
Nah.
Oh really?
I've seen it through most stuff. It's because if you want to stay monetized.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah,
stay
well,
monetized. Well, we ain't making
one-
shit right now. So who
Podcast,
gives a fuck?
they're like, we can't cuss
I
for
will
the
say
first
some
30 minutes,
I
or we'll
will
lose it.
say
Yeah,
suicided.
Stanford Research Institute, obviously, at one point was related to the Stanford Higher Learning Institute, the college. But once all the students found out that they were doing, you know, military-industrial complex type shit, they were like,
Got a little uptight.
fuck this. Yeah, so...
Bunch of hippies getting uptight.
Yeah. So they
got a little war stuff.
a little thing called Viet something. I don't
Bleeding
remember.
Heights.
They broke off and started their own thing, and that's when they actually started getting like huge contracts with the government. And then the remote viewing program comes along. It's had a couple names: Gondola, Grill Flame. What was the other one? Like Sunspot or something like that. And then Project Stargate. And it was through Project Stargate that these remote viewers are allegedly making contact with alien intelligences, or like remote viewing to other planets, the moon, seeing pyramids, things like that.
And for you youngsters and simpletons out there, Stranger Things is basically remote viewing. That's what they were attempting in Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
based on the
Was
Montauk.
That was based on Montauk.
Well, and there's also something in this too, because Puharich. Do you guys remember when we were really young how they used to have space camp?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I went to
yeah,
space
yeah.
camp one year.
You went to space camp?
Yeah, the summer camp, the day camp.
Holy shit!
No. Well, in Houston?
Oh no,
No, the
I
real.
didn't go to the big
There
one.
was actually a movie
Yeah.
in our generation of kids that went to space camp, and it was in like Houston or something.
Yeah,
Probably that makes more sense.
Yeah,
I
the
vaguely-
real space camp was like at like locations
Houston
of.
Space.
It was
Center.
like for
Space
kids
Center,
who
yeah.
were really good at math and science and wanted to maybe one day be an astronaut.
Yeah, they were grooming them to be fucking
Yeah.
allegiance to
We
the.
gotta find one smart kid from our country.
Yeah.
think there might be a systemic problem behind all these idiot kids. Should maybe look into that at some point. I don't really feel like it right now, though. So yeah, supposedly Puharich was basically recruiting all these kids who showed psychic aptitude and who were going to places like Space Camp. And I think this is also where all that bullshit like Indigo Child and fucking Starseed stuff started.
I don't know. I think that was more the New Age stuff.
Well, yeah, like
it was like
I think
that was a crossover between the New Age and the actual. It was like the parents that did all this type of stuff.
Yeah,
got New Agey and then had their kids do New Agey. They're like, oh yeah, you're brilliant.
They were just taking the language and co-opting it to themselves.
Yeah.
It's essentially a recontinuation of the idea of occult eugenics.
The scientists had a hippie wife, and they made a child, so they got the genius part and the free spirit, New Agey part, and mix it together, and then you get indigo children.
Yeah, and like we said, like every conspiracy theory or far out idea does have something that is a kernel of truth or backs it up, and I think what Puharich was doing may have been something like that. Like,
did he did it?
Did he did it?
Did he do it?
How do you do that?
A long time ago.
I don't know. It's all about the Benjamins, bro.
Shouldn't have left him. That a dope beat to step 2.
God damn it.
That's the 5th time. Now it's getting funny.
This is also connected. There's a lot of similar research being done at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory.
That's a hell of a name.
Yeah, it makes me think of a guy who drank himself to death. I don't know why. It's probably the liver in there, something like that. But
liver no more.
Yeah, these guys were doing various defense projects, and this is where you get some of the really weird fucking stories about stuff coming out of there, because there's one guy named Dr. Hit Green, I believe it was, and this is like a weird apocryphal story that goes along with all the stuff that was happening there, but he and his wife, like, he's not supposed to talk about any of the shit he does at work. And he's at home with his wife, and they're arguing about it or something, and all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a disembodied arm with, like, a flannel suit jacket on it, and no hand, but a hook hand, just shows up in the middle of the room and starts moving around. I think David Lynch maybe took some fucking Twin Peaks
It sounds very
shit.
Lynchian.
Yeah. It shows up and starts, like, moving around all weird in the room, and they're like, you see that too, right? It's like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, this is what I can't talk about, or whatever. So there's a whole weird, like, maybe, I don't know, who knows if it's true, or what the fuck caused that.
Yeah, just like in Montauk, the crazy shit that came out of the portal,
the monster from the inn or whatever.
That had correspondence with himself from the past that he didn't remember.
Yeah,
where he was basically talking to himself in another department of the building that he wasn't aware.
Or whatever. Yeah. Supposedly, when this guy Kit Green was talking about this, he was staying in a hotel with some coworkers a week later, talking about the incident, and then a man missing an arm showed up at their door at the hotel and came in and he was like, "Oh, this is the wrong room," and then left. But there's all kinds of weird stories like this about just
the hell of a coinky dink.
Left field, high strangeness. There's no other way to put it, really. But yeah, basically, overarching conspiracy is that all these guys were talking to these aliens, quote unquote, through telepathy, through psychic ability, etc., and they pretty much bought into it because they were told, as a lot of these things tend to happen, that you're very special. It's up to you.
Boy.
You're going to be the one.
Mommy's special boy.
That fixes the world. And a lot of these guys who were involved with the Nine, allegedly, literally pat themselves on the back for ending the Cold War, which...
did that end?
Not so much. Maybe thought it did, but we were wrong.
I don't know. I'm waiting for Rambo to come out and fucking... and then...
Bo Grits.
Matthew Broderick's War Games and fucking
Red Dawn,
and then Red fucking Dawn,
driving that tank up to McDonald's makes me hungry.
I'm gonna be. What's the guy? The guy. What was his name? Be like. Guy. I have a sticker that says it. The guy. It was my favorite line.
All that hate's gonna burn you up, kid.
Keeps me warm.
my favorite fucking line.
Ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah, I love that line.
Wow.
All that hate's gonna burn you up, but it keeps me warm at night.
How appropriate for the times, I think.
Yes.
And what's, this whole thing, this book, what kept popping in my head the entire time I was reading it, we know next to nothing about whatever the equivalent programs that Russia and China were doing. I mean, we know a little bit, but...
We don't know fuck all about China.
Yeah, no.
China got some shit going on. And China's industrious as fuck.
Yeah.
We rely on China. We're speaking
yeah.
into Chinese microphones, a Chinese fucking box, and a Chinese computer on a Chinese TV, and fucking goddamn everything in here probably was that blanket hanging on
listening right now.
They of course they're listening right now. They own all the devices.
There is some the guy we were going to cover this week named Dr. Tom Bearden, quote unquote doctor, Lieutenant Colonel, quote unquote doctor. Tom Bearden, and he's come up a lot in UAP shit and psychotronics research, and apparently he had some affiliation with the Nine, especially Puharich. He was sent to, or I don't know if he went to Russia, but he's apparently the guy, we talked about the woodpecker signal before,
Yeah.
Sonic warfare thing.
Yep, those big fucking antennas.
Yeah, he was apparently the guy that found out about that. I think that's what Puharich was saying, apparently. And he talks a lot about psychotronics being involved in inducing...
Define psychotronics for our listeners, please.
Psychotronics, it's basically... The contention behind it is that the Russians focused... we have parapsychology here, and that's looking into supernatural, etc. Over in Russia, the state says that we don't believe in any of that shit. So
I like that.
Yeah. So instead, they come at it from a manipulation of the mind sort of degree, where they create technologies that can induce various mental states, strange phenomenon. There's this story about these things called Korolev mirrors, which I still barely understand, but it is fucking insane from what I've read. It's like weird doorways, dimensions, and shit.
And now we got Lexapro.
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
Somebody's keeping things fucking on check, I guess. No, the whole reason I wanted to cover Tom Bearden is because he did this research about how the Russians were doing these psychotronic experiments with the weapons, and allegedly they contacted or released some entity that is called Zarg. Z-A-R-G.
That is a very villainous name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's very Russian, too, in a way. It might translate to something I didn't check. But supposedly it's like some weird alien entity that the Russians accidentally unleashed from the collective consciousness.
This is Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That is Stranger Things. That's like the plot of Stranger Things.
So, So, yeah. And, hey, man, even with fiction... some of this stuff.
Mortis, did you leave the spirit gate open?
Yeah. All the fiction is based on these fucking weird things that actually happened.
Stranger than fiction.
Or at least it's been told that have happened, or attempted at least to have happened.
Yeah, at least that's what we hear. I mean...
did you see a ghost?
What surprises me, American people don't know we have comedy in Russia. We have comedians. They're there. They're dead. They're there. It's very hard to do comedy in Soviet Union. You have to write out all your material, and you send it to Department of Jokes.
Oh, man.
Put your hands down.
Paul Stonehill, paranormal researcher. That's not his real name, I don't think, but he's from Russia, and he's all about crazy shit from Russia. You should check into him if you're interested. Man, I don't even know where else to go with this. There's just so much into it. I highly recommend reading the book.
Let's talk about Egypt.
Yeah.
We haven't even barely touched on Egypt other than Graham Hancock.
That's true. Yeah, I wanted
it's Herbie Hancock.
Oh yeah. Wait, real quick. Which song did Herbie Hancock do? Actually, I don't remember. Huh?
Rocket. Is it Zoolander?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some other stuff. Watermelon Man.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to like build the sort of thought byline that goes through all this because, like we said, was it Picknett and Prince, the writers of the Stargate Conspiracy, their overarching contention is that this is all meant to create a cultural shift in people's thought processes to what could be used to build a one-world religion with aliens underlying everything. And that reminds me, too, it's not just the Egyptians and the Atlantis connection as well, but Richard Hoagland, NASA connections. NASA is basically broke down into, like, Nazis, Masons, and occultists, which, I mean, there's some foundational truth for that shit. Jack Parsons, Werner von Braun, Masonic rituals on the moon, etc. So the whole face on Mars, resembling the Sphinx.
Yeah.
They're trying to like build take the mystery of Egypt that's been around forever and connect it to Mars and build a vast sort of narrative.
As if stacking big blocks onto little blocks isn't like something you just do with your Legos as a child. I don't know.
It ain't how you build pyramids. I know that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and there probably is. I mean, I don't know. I don't think people were as stupid back then as we believe.
Well, I mean, like that's the thing.
They were a different kind of smart.
They had it, and that's the thing. In a prosperous society, which at the time Egypt was, you got to fucking have a little time, because if you're a prosperous society, you have extra food. Extra food means you have extra time, and when you have extra time, you get to work on the things that make you smarter.
That's when a group becomes a civilization.
Absolutely.
At that moment, when they stop having to forage for their living.
When every day, when your entire day is not just struggling to survive, that is when
fighting off marmosets and shit.
Marmosets.
I was trying to say the
Tigers?
big elephants that are hairy.
Elephant? What? I don't know. Camels? I don't know.
Camels.
We don't even know.
Camel toe joint.
Jaguars? I don't know. They got all the different figures and stuff.
Marmoset.
But that is
nice marmot.
What the fuck?
On a side note, Misty wanted to get a marmoset a few weeks ago, and I'm like, no, we're not
they're
anymore.
cute.
They're cute as fuck. But there's a lot to them, and apparently they're very aggro. But
that's why I said
it's when societies don't have to struggle to just survive, is when people have time to think and build and do all kinds of amazing things.
You don't have internet and TV and all the bullshit distractions that we have today.
Because you have to think, and that's the thing. You have time to just think about that in those certain situations, in built societies. Because, like, you think of, like, Middle Ages, where, and a lot of times people were just literally struggling. Like, all day you toiled, and then you got drunk in the evening off of mead, and then you got back up and toiled again.
Yep.
That was, times were simpler in that aspect, but when you actually have a formed society, people get to have a little time off because everybody's working together to produce the food that they need, and the people that have the ideas have time to have those ideas and work them out and come up with cool shit.
Yeah.
Which
more everyday brutality of life and fucking just infant death rates are through the roof and just everything was shitty. I don't know. I mean,
and Mike, that's where I don't know, our contention is. I think kind of with last week, people. I don't know. We're kind of at the toiling point. You know. Excuse me.
Should.
The toiling point.
They were toiling hard
because but there's also just all the fucking idiots soaking up all the idiocy of life and not really doing anything with it. And I don't know. That's where
it's kind of been like the evolution of civilization, if you can call it that, from like into like the industrial era and then into today especially. There's more leisure time.
Yeah.
There's more time for people to think about everything.
But
really.
Nobody's thinking about shit in their leisure time.
Well, it's all. I mean,
that's the thing. People are thinking about.
That's why I was like the
that
60s.
waitress they saw last
yeah,
night.
I well that and
the 60s were all me because people had more time. Like I need to connect with my inner child.
It was a robust time. Is contrary. I mean, that's the thing. it wasn't hard living back then. If you wanted to be a bum, you could bum around and still survive.
Yeah.
You know, like in the robust times, that's what people did. You could be a kind of a.
Oh, you mean the robust era? Yeah.
The robust eras come and go.
Robusto.
Robusto, the cigar.
One of my favorite cheeses, Robusto.
Robusto. That was.
But
it's an aged Gouda.
But here we are. You know, some people think, some people don't.
So for those of you who don't think too much, I'm just telling you about that shit before we drop it on you.
The people thinking get to come up with some cool shit, but
yeah,
you know,
and the reason that they mentioned at the beginning of the book, like guys like Graham Hancock, he may not even be aware that he could be his work could be utilized in such a fashion. He may just be a true believer and an idealist, and I think the connection also with these guys and psychedelic drugs. I personally think the psychedelic renaissance needs to happen, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who are there's a strong connection between psychedelic drugs and encounters with the other. As we talked about DMT elves and shit like that.
Yeah,
they get in a hypnagogic state, which it can be brought about by psychedelics, but also in other ways.
Exactly.
Psychedelics seem to be a shortcut.
Heavy meditation, mental stress of like.
And I think all this stuff.
Yeah, traumatic experiences.
Yeah, like these encounters with this otherness is going to become like the next big thing. And I think that's why the alien shit is so popular, because I mean, I don't know, if you're looking at like the past as all these encounters of maybe the shamans encountering spirits or whatever you want to call it, or alien intelligences, even if it's something filed away deep inside our own mind that is part of us, but we have to externalize it
and contextualize it.
Yeah, to like understand it better.
And that's the thing. They're, again, with the release of the information to the masses, they are making it palatable for the masses.
That's the other.
For old Jim Bob, who fucking
that's the through line.
You know,
like sticking no probe up my ass.
Yeah, sticking. But
around my house, I kill it.
But hell yeah, the fucking pyramids, man, that shit's crazy, man. I saw it. I seen it on the History Channel.
Well, see, and the other argument is that this whole idea is all, once again, as we talked about also in the Hollywood versus aliens.
Yep.
This is all possibly part of a
That's what I was getting at.
Soft disclosure.
It's all soft disclosure, or I don't know. Like, what is the end game? We don't know. Yeah. Is there somebody controlling the end game? Probably.
Well, here's the other thing too. When you have programs of remote viewing and the psychic shit like that going on, the idea of remote viewing, inherently within that idea is also the idea of remote influencing. So they could have been like trying to like hoard all these psychics to broadcast something into the ether, whatever you call it, control or manipulate the zeitgeist, and we're where we are today.
And then you could also have, if to bring out my skeptic, they all just got fucking hustled by a bunch of fucking bamboozlers.
You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
That's true too. I mean, it's a possibility.
Because hey, the government was throwing in the
whatever sticks.
The 30s, the 30s through the fucking now, like really the 30s through the 90s, I would say. The government was throwing money at anything that they could do up until when did the fucking wall fall? You know, up until the Soviet Union fell.
89,
through the whole Cold War time, America was robust.
Yeah. And see, that's actually...
And the Soviet Union was robust.
There is another alternative theory as well, that Russia, the whole reason America started looking into this shit, because we heard the Ruskies were doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But then the Ruskies actually were just lying, and to see if we would fucking take the bait and just start sinking money into a bunch of stupid bullshit.
See if we're just playing keeping up with the Putins, you know?
Yeah.
Damn.
There's a famous story about the astronauts at NASA. They like had to sink all this money and research into building a pin that would work in anti-gravity.
Yeah,
while the Russians used a pencil.
Yeah. Yeah, you could buy that pin on the Sky Mall catalog.
Yeah.
It's like on that episode
through
of
sharper
Seinfeld.
image.
You should give it to your nephew Jerry.
Just give him the pen. Why? You want the pen? Take the pen. I'm Jack Clumpus. Take the pen.
Yo, hey, when I was a kid, Sky, I was like, what is this shit? This shit is amazing.
There's a mall in the sky?
Look at its Sky Mall catalog.
I had the astronaut pen. I went like this fucking one time. And every other time, like I thought, if I had this, I could spend all day writing upside down. But no.
Yeah.
Who wants to write
regular
upside
pen.
down? Nobody.
Yeah, I got
Well, if
lost
I
in
could
the
write
couch
more
cushion.
while I'm upside down, I'd be upside down more, wouldn't I?
Wasn't near
Thinking
near
circular.
the thrill that I thought it would be.
Yeah, I remember I finally got my hands on some X-ray glasses when I was a kid, and I was like, "This is bullshit." I've been lied to about everything, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, it was in the
Same
back
thing
of
with
a
the
comic
sea
book.
Yeah. Let's see. Man, just read the book. Seriously.
Yeah, no, this is, of all the most of the time we're like we read the book because so you didn't have to.
Yeah.
This is a book I recommend this book.
Yeah, it's really good.
I bought a copy.
God, it's full of so much information. There's so much, like, dude,
And to bring up the typical conspiracy trope, do your own research.
Yeah, and this book's well written.
But realize it doesn't make you an expert.
Yeah,
it's not one-sided. It seems to be
Yeah.
pretty bipartisan, and it's
it really is. That's what I liked about this.
They pose a theory and they say, "Well, this is probably why it's not right."
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a good
multiple
book.
viewpoints considered.
Yeah, absolutely. This was I'm on board with this fucking book. I am the theories and that's the thing. Like you said,
It's on your list of Chris's special things this month.
I guess so.
These are a few of my favorite.
These are good. Get it. Look up all the references because that's the thing. I couldn't even make it through so much because I wanted to look up everything that they were mentioning.
Have your Google handy, yeah.
And then there's multiple books that they reference in there, which some may be good, and they will tell you what is good and what is bad about that.
Yeah,
but you can still read that book and determine for yourself.
I went on so many just search engine, just rabbit holes and spirals into the abyss. There's all kinds of stuff about the Sirius Star, the Dogon tribe. It's,
which
that's debatable, but the star Sirius does play a major role in most occult groups and Freemasonry, symbolism, stuff like that. So there is something to it. It's been around since it's identified with Isis, the goddess Isis from ancient Egypt.
Oh, not the Islamic State of
nor the agency that Archer used to work for. No. Yeah, I guess man, I didn't really have a game plan for this because, like I said, there's so much fucking information.
Like we would, if we like literally
info dump.
went through all this, this would be a 3 or 4 parter.
Yeah.
Like if we went through it, because it's 438 pages.
This did lead
full pages.
Yeah, this did lead me to some other sources, and I was saying about like we don't know much about the Russians and the Chinese. Like I did find some stuff that we'll do in a future episode.
Yeah, the severed head, the dog head that they kept alive for months.
Yeah, yes.
Jeez.
The ape man soldier breeding experiment. Just
I didn't even get there. God damn.
No,
that's not in the book.
Yeah, this is just stuff I know that Russia was fucking with.
Oh yeah.
But we'll do like a other side of the Iron Curtain,
Mother Russia
sort
Cut off a dog's
of
head and kept it
episode
alive
down the
for,
road.
weeks.
I would like to go to Russia.
Yeah, I'd check it out.
I'd go.
A lot of history. I want to go anywhere.
So
with
much
lots
fucking
of
history.
Old history.
They actually have excellent fine dining too. Like it's not all cabbage and shit. Like they have.
I love cabbage.
I do too. But they have like
I'm Irish
pastry
and I don't like it.
and
It's
seafood that is really like world class.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And caviar, of course.
A lot of attractive women looking for husbands over there as well.
And Chernobyl pigs.
Comrade, get me
and
comrade.
dogs. Feral mutant dogs.
Bears.
Russia is full of fucking
I'd love to go to
it's-
Russia too.
pseudo supernatural.
I don't know what
mad
the
science
square
etc.
footage. I think are they bigger than the United States?
I think it's 3 hectares to the hogshead.
Right. It's similar. I can't remember which one.
They're very
close.
similar size. They're very, I mean, obviously,
Australia is almost as big as
the
us.
Soviet Union was much bigger than the United States. But
If you count like
if you just go to
Siberia,
Russia,
and I think Mongolia.
Yeah, there's
that's-
parts of Asia that were
Yeah.
under that.
Well, Russia's Asian. Eurasian.
Shitstorm.
Eurasian.
You're Asian? Am I?
Anyway.
I kind of have one last quote. This is from David Morehouse. And he kind of just, this one quote kind of speaks volumes about what, to me personally, was one of the more super interesting things that, like we said, like, it's 480 pages. We do this show every week, and we have other shit going on. So we don't get to always read everything. But this is what pointed me into the direction of other cool shit that I'm going to look up down the road. David Morehouse was a former lieutenant colonel, the U.S. Army, and a remote viewer. And he started working with SRI, Stanford Research Institute, Hal Puthoff and them doing the remote viewing program. He says, "I couldn't believe it. This program had been in existence since early 1974. He was there in the 80s. For nearly 15 years. It wasn't experimental any longer. They knew it worked. They'd proven that at Stanford, all the evidence was here. There were books written on this stuff by the researchers, which is also true. Dr. Edgar Mitchell, one of the astronauts of NASA, wrote a book about a lot of psychic research going on with this shit. Nobody paid any attention to them. The books didn't mention the intelligence agencies, but evidence of government funding was written all over the place." And he continues, "The government was funding paranormal research in half a dozen private and as many state and federal research centers across the United States. They were pumping tens of millions of dollars into remote viewing and various related techniques." Now, just from that bit alone, you could extrapolate the idea
how much we know
of
versus how much is out there.
Yes, exactly. Just the money and the funding and the resources and the best brilliant minds available into this stuff. And it's weird how many of these people have agendas that line up with belief in aliens and supernatural and psychedelic drugs. There's a lot of overlap in all this shit. Most of the most brilliant scientists at some point have fucked with this shit. So, it's worth looking into. I, once again, definitely recommend the book. So,
yep.
Yeah, that's Stargate Conspiracy. Anyone got anything to...
That's the way she goes.
It was nice to not be completely skeptical, because really, I'm skeptical about a lot of things, but after I do believe that the human mind is kind of a
mystery.
It's a mystery. It's an amazing thing.
Madonna wrote a song about it.
As far as I know, it does work on electrical impulses, which are frequencies. We've done the frequencies, the fucking all that stuff. So
harmonics.
I cannot completely rule out that remote viewing, telepathy, any kind of that type of thing, channeling. I cannot rule it out entirely, because I do not know how some people's brains are wired. Some people's brains are wired to make them end up under 635 sucking their own dick. But
callback,
ear to ear grin, baby.
But
shake that
some people's brains might be wired to read other people's minds, or to go up into the stars and communicate,
like radios,
because electrical impulses, frequencies, I don't understand it entirely. People study them, and they still don't entirely understand them. So that it leaves a world open, and that is a world that I am comfortable with being open. Personally.
Yeah, we need more science translators for the regular Joes. One more additional nugget of information. I would say that the best continuation of this stuff that SRI and these guys were doing is a guy named Dr. Michael Persinger. He was really big in the news a while back because he's the guy who invented something called the God Helmet, which is meant to use electromagnetic rays, etc., to induce feelings of a presence in the room. And it was through the experiments he did with this that he basically created a whole new field of science called neurotheology, which means essentially that God, whatever you want to call it, ghosts, higher power, etc., is built into our brains and can be potentially manipulated. So, that is both a
interesting
and
stupid.
potentially...
Is that where I get my God complex?
It's interesting in that the potential can be great, but it can also be fucking terrifying.
It's like the Force.
If it were weaponized. Yeah. So
I also feel like that if I just hook my welding machine up to my head, it might do the same thing. Those things hum, bro. Like
Well, you gotta connect through the anodes. I'm pointing at my nipples.
Yeah.
Spencer is rubbing his nipples,
licking my lips.
All right, guys, we got to go drop Spencer off.
I'm horny
under 635 Garland Road, so he can go camp out and.
I got these cheeseburgers, man.
And try to reach that thing. You know.
See you all on the other side, baby. It's gonna work tonight. I know it.
If you want to get a hold of us, email us at kooksandcranks@gmail.com. We'll be back next week with.
Give me one more week.
Okay.
Next week we're doing whatever the fuck Mike has in store. I don't know.
It'll be.
But the very next week after that, because I think I actually have free time this weekend where I can delve into the things that I'm popping up.
I found some sources I'm going to send you to.
Cool. I have sources to send y'all.
So yeah, this has been Kooks Cranks Iconoclast. I'm your host, Mike Lux.
Spencer Larry.
Boop. Christopher motherfucking Wells.
Officially. Bye! See you next week.
Retarded people retards. It's bad taste. You call your friends retards when they're acting retarded.
What are you, retarded?
Ancient astronaut viewers say yes.